I once heard it said that poverty is a violent act. What's your opinion about poverty?
To be honest, is something that takes away your human rights to give your family what they need to continue on. It's humiliating. It silences you, and also it destroys generations to come.
Well, of course, it's a violent act. And why is it a violent act? When you don't have resources to provide for your families, that leads you to other choices where you may not have as a priority the interests of the communities. So what happens is we have conflicts, right? A lot of our conflicts in the world are because of economic instability and food insecurity. You can see this time and time again.
Serial forced displacement. Serial forced displacement. And basically, this characterizes that process of consistently displacing black people and other communities of color, but very specifically black communities. And what these researchers very recently came up with is the ultimate result of that. And what they discovered was the ultimate result of serial forced displacement is personal and structural violence. When you rob people of the ability to actually control and moderate their whole lives, then you also take from them the very necessary stability for mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical well-being.
Poverty is the demise of human reality, of human goals and thoughts. I mean, when you look at poverty, it goes beyond just the living conditions, the economic conditions, but it goes into a mental condition that I don't think people really understand. A poverty mindset, it limits the possibilities of creativity. It limits the possibilities of a cycle of changing communities in a very positive way. So having the poverty itself has circles of degrading and less than mindsets.
My research indicated that poverty is not mysterious, it's not inexplicable, but rather it is a systemic problem, and it comes with victims. So, in some ways, poverty is created by human beings who profit from the misfortune of the poor, or the institutionalization of poverty benefits the system itself. So if we're talking about systemic poverty or structural poverty, it is definitely a violent act against the poor. So the same people who thrive on the suffering of the poor can do away with poverty if they had been able to do so.
Poverty in this country is totally unnecessary. I think it's a tragedy. It should be a national disgrace that we have the poverty rate that we do in the United States of America, one of the wealthiest countries in the world. The fact that we have high poverty in this country, and disproportionately so in communities of color, really speaks to our national priorities around making sure that everyone in this country has an opportunity to live at a decent standard of living, a humane standard of living.
Poverty is psychologically violent. It strips people of their hopes. It robs people of their dreams, and it also causes people to blame themselves for their plight. We make people think that the reason they're in the circumstances they're in is some reason they don't work hard. They lack industry. They don't have a good work ethic. And we lift up before people these isolated individuals or instances of people who so-called pull themselves up by their own bootstraps and were able to rise up out of their conditions. And while those stories are great, they do not provide an answer to why there's poverty in our society. People are not poor because they lack industry, because they lack morals and values. Poverty exists because of the structural systemic realities in which we see in our society today, realities that are not reducible to structural racism, I would contend. I would contend the structural realities caused and created by our over reliance on borrowing